Today, for the first time on this channel, I'm going to be talking about Black Country New Road and their debut album, For the First Time, by Black Country New Road. Okay, that sounded a lot better in my head.
Is it raining?
BCNR, which is what I'm going to call them from now on because they just have a really long name, is an English experimental rock band formed in 2018 by a group of 6 people. Tyler Hyde, Lewis Evans, Georgia Ellery, May Kershaw, Charlie Wayne and Isaac Woods, although in 2019 a 7th member, Luke Mark, joined. Some of the members were previously in a band called Nerves Conditions, but the band split up due to some not nice allegations made against one of the members. They get a lot of comparison to Black Midi, which is justified, but if you go into their music expecting more Black Midi, you're going to be pretty disappointed. Mostly because they're not as abrasive or as exciting as Black Midi, but they still make really good music. Their first album, For the First Time, released in 2021 to widespread critical acclaim. I'll admit I did listen to their second album, Ants From Up There, first, which I will be reviewing next, probably. But I like this one more. It's experimental rock music with lots of brass instruments, which is kind of their like signature style, and the brass instruments are easily the best part of the whole album. Some of them remind me a lot of the song The National Anthem by Radiohead. Their songs are composed really well, and they're always like adding and taking away instruments throughout the song, and it's really interesting to listen to. Isaac Woods, the singer, has a great singing voice, and he's also a really good lyricist, I feel. The album is pretty concise at just about 40 minutes and only 6 songs. Personally, I would prefer if some of those 6 songs were shorter so that there could be more than 6 songs in those 40 minutes. But that's just being a little nitpicky, I feel, so I'll let it slide. The best songs on the album, in my opinion, are Science Fair, which is my personal favorite, and it's a really exciting song, almost a little scary. I love the synths on it. As weird as this sounds, they kind of remind me of the Portal 2 soundtrack. Great game, by the way, with a great soundtrack, if you haven't played it.
Fractal of Rube Goldberg machines is what it feels like understanding how Twitter works. And yet work it does!
But it's something, I don't know what it is about them, they just give me that kind of feel. Another great song is Sunglasses, which I think was one of the singles for the album. Admittedly, it takes a while to get going, which I have a bit of a gripe with personally, but when it gets going, probably the best song on the whole album, if I'm being honest. The last song, Opus, is also really good. Not my personal favorite, but I understand why people like it. It's almost like a collage of the whole album. It's got slower parts that are very similar to Athens, France, but it's also got the more exciting, frantic parts, like Science Fair. In terms of worst songs, again, it's one of those albums where there's no bad songs, but I just have to kind of pick the worst of a great bunch. So I'm going to say Instrumental, the opening song. Again, great song, very good. But when Isaac Woods singing is one of the best parts of the whole album, and there's a whole song that doesn't have it on there, I don't know, it's just not as good as the others. Another song I'm not a huge fan of is Track X. It's like, again, great song, it's just I don't feel like it goes anywhere towards the end, or like at least not in comparison to the other 5 songs on here. It just feels like it kind of goes and goes and goes, and then it just ends and nothing really happens. Whereas all the other songs on this album and on their next album, they kind of build up and then everything like crashes at the end. Well, for most of them anyway. For the album cover, I honestly don't have a whole lot to say, because seeing as there's like a little credit in the bottom right, I think it's just a picture one of the members found on Instagram. But I mean, it's a pretty good cover, captures the vibe pretty well. So, you know, that's what a good cover should do. So yeah, for the first time, overall, really liked it. Thought it was very good. Gonna give it 8.9 people walking up a hill. Yeah, heard it for the first time and went, damn, that's really good. Okay, bye.